Nancy and welcome to Property Management Monday. This week on Property Management Monday, we are going to be discussing communication. After all, the only reason that you've got a business is because you've got tenants in place. So they're your clients. You need to be looking after them as best you can. As a property manager, your first rule of business is to figure out how you are going to be contactable for your tenants. Because after all, you need to be on call 24 hours a day. Even if it's not you, you must have something in place whereby your tenant can contact you. So for us, that means that we have an out of office service running from 6 o'clock every night to 8:30 the next morning. So our tenants have a free phone number that they can call and they know they're going to get help. But that may be different for you. And in this episode of Property Management Mondays, we're going to be discussing the different options that you can use so that you've always got contact with your tenants, but at a time frame that suits you. The first thing that you need to do is decide on what method of contact your tenant's going to be able to reach you on. So is that going to be an email? Is that going to be they phone you? Or is it going to be through instant messaging or texting? For me, my preferred method is instant messaging or texting, mainly because I can pick that up at any time. It's something that they can just send in passing, oh, I've got this problem, here's the photo to go with it. But you need to put that in place with your tenants, because otherwise they won't know and they'll bombard you no matter what. Your next task is to put in place clear timescales of when the best time to contact you is. Yes, I know, I say you have to be contactable 24/7, but there's got to be a better time. You can't be available all day, every day. You might have meetings, you might have other things on, but if you put in place some clear times when you know that you're going to be dealing with management inquiries, your tenant will know when the best time to get in contact with you is. So, for me, the best time is probably between 9 and 11 o'clock in the morning, and then in the afternoon between 3 and 5, but it might change for you. And obviously with our out of hours team, they'll pick up as soon as you call. But our tenants know that. We've put in place clear boundaries, and I suggest that you do too. To make sure that your communication is clear. You don't want to be telling your tenants something that you can't follow through on. So when they get in contact with you, you need to respond and say, okay, I understand what's going on. Or if you don't understand what's going on, ask for clarification. That can be in the form of a description, that can be photos, whatever you need to make sure that you can solve the problem, make sure you ask them for. One thing you don't want to be doing though is being stressed with them. I know it can be an absolute pain when someone phones you, they're flustered, there's a leak, they don't know what to do about it, so they're absolutely having a panic. The worst thing that you can do is be annoyed with them. I know that from experience. So make sure that you think about what the best solution is for the problem. You can even tell them that you'll get back to them within a couple of minutes. Put them on hold for a bit. Just make sure that you're understanding and that you can listen to what they're saying. As soon as you've listened to it, you can deal with it. Don't give false hope to your tenants. Honestly, it's not worth it. All you need to do is be honest with them. So if you're going to have to get off the phone and you're going to have to phone your contractor, you're going to tell your tenants that's what you're going to do. And give them a clear time frame of when you're going to get back in contact with them. Even if you say, okay, I'll come back to you in 5 minutes, you come off the phone, you phone your contractor, you can't get through to your contractor. If you've told your tenant you're phoning them back in 5 minutes, that's what you're going to have to do. So you phone them back and you tell them you haven't been able to get hold of anybody, but you'll keep trying. Set expectations, keep to it, and therefore you're maintaining your customer services. My fourth and final tip of advice is to keep file notes of everything. That's a date, a time, and who you've spoken to, what you've done about it, and what you are going to do as the result of your conversation. It's a must, honestly, because then you can log everything and keep records of everything. If your tenant then phones back at a future date and says, you haven't done this or you've not acted in the way you said, you can refer back to your file note. If you haven't done what you said you were going to, then you can resolve it. But if you have, you can say to them, well, actually, I told you this on this date. Another really important reason why you keep file notes is in case you need to claim on your insurance. For leaks, property damage, just send it on through to your insurers. They can then make sure that they claim appropriately and you've done your due diligence, so it's fantastic. Also, another reason why I keep file notes is because at the end of the day, if it gets to 6 o'clock and I need to pass it over to my out of hours team, I can just forward them the file notes. They know who I've spoken to, what I've done about it, and what I plan to do. And then they can keep the tenants updated. It's really simple, really easy, but something that as a property manager, you must do. Thank you for joining us for Property Management Mondays. I hope you've learned a lot about what you need to be a property manager this week. Good communication is key, and keeping your tenants' expectations is even more important. So listen to my tips of advice and put a communication plan in place. That way, you can never fail. When your tenant phones and they want something from you, you can respond accordingly. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.